Yeah, that's Vanity's call and some other little interesting texts. Now make sure you guys smash the and crap out of that Vanity's call button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So I saw, what was it, a Odotic... No, it was a Rizal list that was playing Vanity's Call in the side deck, along with a number exceeds Unbreakable in the main deck, citing an additional. They had, you know, of course, the one Judgment, the one Warning in the deck as well. They just had all of the components that you would be seeing that the Rizal deck would want to be having at this stage, and it was an interesting takeaway. But why Vanity's Call? So you have to activate it as Chainlink 4 or higher. That's right, you have to be at Chainlink 4 or higher to do this. Now, I guess to be fair, you know, in a situation where maybe your opponent has, like, multiple effects going up at the same time, you know, like Mitsurugi, Chainlink 1, 2, and 3, you know, you can Vanity's Call, pay half your life points to negate the activation effects of all other cards in the same chain as it and destroy them. It's not a bad scenario maker here that you could use this card to be able to clear down an entire chain. It is realistic, actually. It's just... Is it worth it, you know, for an unsearchable one-of on a counter trap card? I don't necessarily know, but I saw this, I wanted to mention it, because I was like, this is hilarious, and yet really cool to see that people are talking about this, and at least wanting to give some consideration to cards that can do full chain down negates. Because it's this sort of stuff that you look at and you're like, huh, you know, being able to clear down a whole chain of events seems kind of impactful. Who gets grabbed about half of your life points? Cloak and Dagger. I did not think I would see the day that Cloak and Dagger would even be looking like a card that would see play. But a Sky Striker deck showed up out of its OTS Championship playing Cloak and Dagger in the side deck. Now, Cloak and Dagger, you have to declare a monster card name. All right, any monster card name you want. If your opponent normal or special summons or flips that monster or monsters face up, remove that monster or monsters and this card from play. This basically gives you the ability to take care of any problematic monster that you can think of that your opponent could make that can basically ruin your day. Because Cloak and Dagger is automatically going to trigger on the summon of the monster. It is going to take care of the problem right away for you. Now, obviously, on summon effects will still be able to trigger. So you are going to have to be a little bit careful of what you're trying to do with this card, which... once again, I don't necessarily think is a terrible thing. You know, you're just going to have to consider, hey, you know, if we're going to declare so-and-so, you know, can my opponent do something to maybe counter the Cloak and Dagger's abilities? And I mean, knowing that I'm going to have to deal with this card on the summon of something doesn't necessarily make it a bad card. It's just... It is an interesting tech choice, to say the least. I can't think of a better card like this for the purpose that I feel like they're trying to use it for. Because you're just trying to slow down any problematic thing that your opponent's going to do at the time that's going to ruin your day. Which is, honestly, okay. And then we have Archnemeses Eschatos. This guy has been gaining quite a lot of discussion as of late. And I think the reason Eschatos is even being looked at right now is because with the loss of Protoss, the Rizal players are just kind of like, shit, we need to do something here. You know, we don't want to change our build and we don't want to play it worse than it was. And then they're like, wait a minute, we still have an arch nemesis monster. We are not totally SOL at this point, which is where Eschatos comes in. Now, Eschatos is a little bit harder to make because he has to be different. Actually, I'd say he's actually should be easier because he's different types have to be banished from the graveyard, and then you can declare a monster card on the field and destroy all monsters on the field with that type, and until the end of the next turn, neither player can special summon monsters of that type. Now, you do have to have something on the field in order to, trigger Eschatos. He himself is a dragon, which, in a lot of eras, that's a pretty broken thing, but in the current day and age, I mean, he's not going to be winning any awards for trying to be, his dragon best, unfortunately. He's just going to be a tech choice for a boss monster that you can deploy that's basically going to be unaffected by things, who you can basically just take your opponent out back and take care of any type you need. Honestly, though, I think the Rizal Extra deck should have enough rank 4s that you should be able to subdivert into one, be able to call it, and probably be able to handle your problem that, might be coming up. So I think that that's something that should be workable for the deck. And then we've got Code of the Soul. So this card has been gaining a lot of attention recently in Malice. And I first started to see this in Japan, but it's leaking over here into America now for the tech choices. So if you control a Link monster, we can special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can use this effect. You can link summon a Salaman Great Link monster. You can use a Salaman Great Link monster. You control the same type as the entire material. We don't really care about that. During your opponent's main phase, however, we can banish this card from the graveyard. After this effect resolves, we can link summon a Link 3 or higher Cyberse Link monster. So you could technically jettison into the Firewall Link monster during your opponent's turn because of Code of the Soul. So two major things to think about here. One, it's an extender if I've got a Link monster on the field, which honestly kind of fixes one of the problems that Malice had. Because if you go into Splash Mage and you would need the revive, we no longer have Splash Mage. So now you can make a Link to have this special summon it. You've got the extra body on the field. You can kind of make the concessions if you need be. And plus having this down gives you the ability to quick link into something during the opponent's turn to kind of go, ha ha ha, he, I've got this trap that you're going to fall into. That is kind of the consensus here, honestly. I think this is just one of those interactions that you look at and you kind of take it for what it's worth. Malice needs as much gas as they can actually get at this stage. And I'll be darned, Code of the Soul's job is to patch up those problems. And dare I say, I think it does it quite well. I don't know, man. I'm happy to see this is an option again. So, congrats to Malice. And then we have Jamming Waves coming back for Sky Strikers. So, I've been paying attention to a lot of the more recent Sky Striker innovations. Things have changed, and now that the Fallen and the Virtuous has come down from the top, players are looking at different builds and other decisions to figure out what the perfect build is for how they want to go about constructing the deck. Obviously, Fallen and the Virtuous spot removal is one of the stupidest things that we've gotten in modern era times, and that's basically what we've been relying on. But also, we've got a turn point here to seeing Jamming Waves returning. It's not Afterburners, it's Jamming Waves. Now, the cool thing about Jamming Waves is if you got the 3 spells down, after you pop that back row on resolution, you can pop any monster on the field in a non-targeting destruction fashion. And I think that's the reason why we look at this card and we go, holy crap, man, this is a big one. Because having non-targeting spot removal options is huge. And I don't really feel like people talk about that enough in the game. You take those options and you truly run with them because they are very, very good for the course of the game. So, Jamming Waves is now impacting Sky Strikers and making the deck, in my personal opinion, a little bit better for things. So what do you guys think about all the little tech choices and things running around? Please leave a comment down below what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.